also another powerful discussion on the Footprints Radio Talk Show. Sorry for being a bit late today because we one or two things out. Let's go straight to the point. The point is, who do I have in the hot seat? This is a man that I have known for almost 20 decades. He's a very young man that is really doing well in the field of business and engineering. This man, as I said, is an engineer, he's an author, he's an entrepreneur, and he's a teacher. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about the man called Mr. Kwabena, a young, astute entrepreneur based in Ghana. This is what the Opportunity Starr Radio gives. Anybody that is really doing well across the globe, we want you to impact our world, because now there is no space in this world. Everything is connected because of technology. Mr. Kwabena, please welcome to the Footprints, and you are live on Starr Radio UK.
Hi, Oscar. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. I think you have to raise your voice a little bit so that our listeners can really hear you, especially those that will not be using headphones.
Yes, sir. I will do that.
All right, then. So how is things been? How is Ghana? How is the political situation? How is life treating you? How is everything? Family?
Yes, family is good. Ghana is good. We are well. And I want to say thank you for the invitation. Thank you for connecting with me.
Thank you very much. We also want to say thank you for honoring this invitation to be on a Footprints Radio Talk Show, to really share your views in terms of one pertinent topic that is really a struggle for most of us. The point is that most of us want to be our own boss, but what skills do we need to be our own boss? If you are joining us, the topic for today is the skills that entrepreneurs need in the marketplace. And the person here to discuss with us is our special guest, Mr. Kwabena. Please, in your own words, who is Mr. Kwabena?
I am Kwabena is an African. I was born in Ghana. I trained as engineer. I first degree from KNUST, second degree from another place in process engineering. I went to a preparatory school, and that's Kwabena. I'm a Christian. I love reading, and I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. I'm passionate about the prospects of the African people.
That is really like a book, but we are going to take it that way. Yes, it's been an honor to have you on the show. Now, there is one thing before we start I really want us to talk about, and that is, when did you start your entrepreneurial journey? Because you are an engineer by profession, and as far as I know, engineers don't normally do business.
That's true. I don't know when I started, but right after national service, I was not keen in trying to look for a place to work. I trained as an intern in an industry on the field. Actually, we were working on machines, and it was a sawmill. And so, from the national service, my friends and myself, we started to just do some buying and selling. Anything that could come to mind, we were trying to do them. So I think that's where I started to see what I could do with business. But before that, my grandmother, when we were children, we could go to the farm, and when you go there, and whatever that you carry to the house, she will let you go and sell and keep some of the money. My mother was a nurse, and who was also selling on the other side. So I think that's where the thing comes from. I think it's just the background.
So it means that you are a family of entrepreneurs.
Maybe. I don't know, because they were not doing it on a major scale. They were doing it for the income and things like that. But it was not a formal business where you were trying to, employ people, structure, and things like that. So I think and my grandfather was somebody like that as well. My mother's.
That is where you got the inspiration from, isn't it?
I think so. I think the independence in thinking came from that place.
There is this myth and there is this saying that entrepreneurs, some say entrepreneurs are made, some say entrepreneurs are born. Why is your stand in that? Because I think there's some people that believe that business is not for me, entrepreneurship is not for me, to use my talent to make money is not for me. All I need is to find a job, because they believe that people that really build businesses, they are born with it. Do you agree with that assertion, or do you think entrepreneurs are made?
I think that some people are born with certain dispositions, certain characteristics that make them fall into what ends up to become entrepreneurs. But I think it's more conditioning than talent, because for me, talent without the proper training is not, it wouldn't get too much. So it's more of conditioning, it's more of preparation, it's more of where you
Yeah. So you mean that people are born with it in a way, isn't it?
I think that some people have natural gift for it. For instance, you can have a child who is easily wants to be independent. They are very much curious and they ask questions. They the things that make people become entrepreneurs. They like freedom. They don't want to be, they don't want to follow the norms. They don't want scripts. There are children like that. And then there are some of them who don't want trouble. They follow the lie. There are things that people are born with. But I think that much of it are learnable skills that anybody at all can learn. Because I don't think that anybody else was also born to be an employee, for instance. So anybody was born to be, let's say, a caterer or a doctor, and for that matter. Some people just have some bits more of the skills that will end you up in any profession than the others. But what really makes the difference is for me, the training, the conditioning beyond what anybody else does.
That's really true. That's really true. So does it mean that there's something in us that really makes us different, or some people have not been able to identify what is in them to really bring out the best out in them?
I think that everybody should be able to identify what they are good at, and then beyond that, they'll be able to know which kind of area that they'll be very good at. For me, entrepreneurship cuts across all other areas, because you can find entrepreneurs in almost every field. Okay, so let's say somebody is a footballer, and he can play as a footballer, but he can end up owning a football team. And that becomes, he's moved from just being a player to being an entrepreneur. Yeah. Or somebody can be a journalist, then he ends up owning the radio station or the TV station, and the skill for that would be much different for Oscar.
Yeah. Okay. That's very great. That's very great. Now every business starts with an idea, isn't it? Every business starts with an idea. How do you generate an idea for your business?
Yep. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Every business starts with an idea.
Yeah. So how do you generate ideas for your business?
I think that much of it will come from the things that get your attention. Sometimes the things that you have expertise in. So sometimes the things that you're passionate about. Some people will start a business, just because they found themselves with a certain network. certain friend who happens to be in something, and or sometimes they just go through town, something hits them, they see it that they can do it. Ideas can come from the environment that you are, but it's more of what you have trained yourself to identify. If you send somebody to the gold field and he has trained it or on the land, he's working, he's able to identify which area has a mineral or not. It's more of the training and what you're looking for. So, for instance, when I am moving through town, I'm not trying to look for a business idea to go to space or things like that, because I don't have that kind of expertise. I don't have that kind of training. So your ideas will come out of your exposure. Your ideas will come out of the expertise, and your ideas will come out of your hobby. The things that you're talking about. Those are the areas that you get to find.
Do we have opportunities around us that we cannot see? That are ideas, but always we are looking for something extraordinary. But are we surrounded with opportunities?
Yeah, some people. Yeah. But ideas are close to you.
Hello, please come again. Yeah, come again, sir.
Yes, I said that the ideas come from the things that you know, the things that are close to you, the things that you have expertise in, the things that you read about, the things that you spend your time on. Those are the things that will get you the ideas. Where you have friends, where you go, your background, the things that you can implement. Those are the things that bring.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yes. Now, in starting businesses, most people want to go the sole proprietorship way of business. That is, they want to do everything by themselves. Yeah. For example, if they need financial help for their business, they want to save it for themselves. So sometimes it takes years for them to really start their vision, and sometimes they never get started because they get frustrated about it. Do you think partnership in business is good?
Absolutely. But there are a lot of things that you have to know before you can pick somebody as a partner. And I think that business really goes beyond this. At any point in time, the big people who have built successful businesses, they only became big because you have not even as equal share owners. Somebody somewhere had some kind of skill that they brought on board. That's why the people succeeded in business. So I don't think if you want to do something, let's say set something on your table and do it all by yourself, that's fine. That is just somebody trying to find income to take care of the family. That's somebody who has created some kind of a job for themselves. But when it comes to building a business or building a company, I think it goes beyond this one. And those who end up, eventually those who succeed are those who are able to develop the skill to be able to work with a lot of people. And it takes a lot of maturity to work with somebody who can partner. So I don't think that, you see, there are categories of entrepreneurship. There are people, sometimes they just balk me to say that everybody is an entrepreneur, one thing, something. It's true, but in its essence, entrepreneurship goes beyond just selling to get an income. It becomes an idea, it becomes a vision that requires structure, it requires some kind of leadership from yourself and other people. It's an idea that fills the need of society. And for me, that is the kind of category that I will put in the not just you're trying to do something.
All right then. I think we'll be going for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to continue the discussion.
Okay.
The IWFT team presents Footprints on Starr Radio UK with your host Oscar Bimpong every Thursday at 7 p.m. Starr Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean station in London.
Bed of roses, bed of roses, bed of roses. My name is Doreen Carter. I invite you to join me on Star Radio UK this and every Saturday at 9:30 p.m. in discussing what goes on behind the curtains with my panel of experts. Remember, the time is 9:30 p.m. this and every Saturday. Bed of Roses is brought to you by the kind courtesy of Voices of Esther.
Hello listeners, my name is Ira Lucy. I invite you to join me on the Starr Personality Profile Show this and every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, where I will be talking to experts in their different fields to find out why they do what they do and what makes them exceptional in their various careers. This show is Starr Personality Profile on Starr Radio UK. Remember, the time is 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Download the app from your app store or join me live on all our social media platforms.
Bed of Roses, Bed of Roses, Bed of Roses. Voices of Esther brings you Bed of Roses this and every Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Join our panel of experts to discuss issues within your relationships. Hosted by Doreen, you will be motivated and equipped to handle issues within your relationships. Remember, it is Saturday at 9:30 p.m. GMT. Don't miss it.
I'll lay you down, on a bed of roses.
The IWFT team presents Footprints on Star Radio UK with your host Oscar Bimpong every Thursday at 7 p.m. Star Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean station in London.
Listen to Aunties Mary, Lottie and Regina on the Family Enrichment Programme on Star Radio UK this and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Some people are wicked because don't make it your business going about revealing
people's secrets. Don't be a busybody.
And some people.
Today's typical family is under pressure from various directions. Divorce is on the increase. More and more of the Afro-Caribbean youth are taking to crime, etc. The Family Enrichment Program brings together a team of qualified experts to discuss and shed light on how we can make our families better and stronger. It is said the family can do without the society, but the society can't. Listen to the Family Enrichment Program this and every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Star Radio UK, your favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Download our app in iTunes and the Google Play Store.
The IWFT team presents Footprints on Star Radio UK with your host Oscar Bimpong every Thursday at 7 p.m. Star Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean station in London. The IWFT team presents Footprints on Star Radio UK with your host Oscar Bimpong every Thursday at 7 p.m. Star Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean station in London.
Please welcome back to the Footprints Radio Talk Show, and this is your regular host Oscar Bimpong, always in the driving seat, taking you to your destination of success. We've had the first segment of the program, and it's really going on well. My guest for today is Mr. Obendako, who is a teacher, an engineer, author, and an entrepreneur. And he's here to talk about the entrepreneurship skills that you need to succeed in the marketplace. Please welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we are having a discussion on partnership in business, and is it good or bad? In our part of the world, do people really put things on paper to really regularize whatever partnership they go into, people, or just a word of mouth?
I think that if you register a business and you registered it as a limited liability company, maybe you both of you partners would have become either directors or shareholders, and there is a place that they tell you the shareholding shared it. So maybe if you register it, then that would be legally binding. If you didn't register together, then there could be some kind of a document that the people involved in the partnership would have to look at and possibly sign.
That sounds really interesting, but you see, sometimes people really trust family. People think he's been my good friend for years. Why should I put things on paper? People are not very very bold to really come out and say, no, we have to let everybody know where they stand in this business. So they make everything like friendship. But I believe that when the money starts coming in, it really brings a different twist to the whole thing, isn't it? Who gets what, and who is the leader? Who is the CEO? Who is the brain behind this business? I think it brings a lot of conflict, making partnership in Africa and our part of the world very difficult. What do you think?
Okay, the business itself is a problem that you're solving, and most people, if it's their first business, there's a lot that they will not understand. Okay, so if sometimes somebody will say that, okay, I work in an insurance company, I form a business with my friend who is an engineer, and we all equal partnership, equal shares in the business. But he is working somewhere. He has brought money to the business, and you on the field. So technically, the one on the field will become maybe the managing director, and he will do a lot of work, and the other person will just show up every now and then. I think that it's a problem. If you are going to do partnership and it's your first business and you don't know much about what it takes to build a business, both of you should be involved. Or you just take the loan, you just take the money from your friend as a loan, and then you go in yourself fully and bear everything. Because the chances of you failing is very high, especially if it's at the first business. And the other person may not have gone through a lot of things with you. And the chance, if you succeed, you will feel cheated that you have gone through a lot of things to make this business start to make meaning. Then the other guy is sitting somewhere. They didn't have that much at stake, because you're still receiving a salary. And you were going through all kind of things to. And then he comes to show that because I have my name on people that I'm 50% shareholder, I am doing this. That becomes. So I think it's not just the people, but the sweat, the involvement, the sacrifice. The sacrifices that both or the partners are making is what really wants to share than just. Most of it, if you have not done it before, you will not really have this consideration until you start to go through that and you see that it's a mistake that you make. You should have a different kind of structure.
Wow, that's very great. That's very great, and I think you are making a very good point over there. Yes, but you see, when starting a business in Africa, you cannot leave families without it. Most of the times, I think they are the people that really support you for you to be on a good ground. but they are the people that can also let you down. I think I call them the partners in disguise.
Yeah.
How do you deal with them? Is it better to deal with outsiders or just to deal with people that you know that are family members?
Okay, if you are naive, you will just pick family without regarding the skill, the disposition, the character, the expertise that you need from somebody who is coming on board to help you. And so it gets to a point, it shouldn't just be family. It should be who has what it takes to make the business successful. Families, especially those of us who happen to have gone to school, most of them will not want you to go and try business. A lot of them will want you to go and look for a job, even if the job is not there. And so I think that family involvement, especially from the parents and the siblings, when you have gone through to school and they are not coming from a business background, they will not see the wisdom in you trying to start a business. Okay. And that's why most graduates will not have the encouragement or the support network to try something in terms of entrepreneurship, because everybody wants you to go and look for a job and become a manager or become a boss somewhere that you can post to. And the reality is that when you start a business, for the first 5 years, very few people can be proud of you, because you don't know what you're doing, you don't have the cards, you don't have the network, you're going to fail several times, and you will not look like someone which they will say that my son finished school and he's trying to build a business. So family is one way together. But sometimes you can have a mother or a father who will just give you some kind of thing. And I think that's why people who didn't have much family bonding turn up to become entrepreneurs than the people who the father was involved, the mother was involved, and they try to make all decisions for all. Because for you to start a business, you literally would have to be somebody who goes against a lot of things which are seen as normal and which are seen as acceptable. Nobody is going to be proud of you at the start. That's a fact. Because the starting of the business looks ugly, and very few people can see the future and what you have become. So family, if you are getting an employee who is a family, if you are naive, you will just boss. But if you become mature, you would want to put a lot of things like you know what your strength can take. You would want to describe the salary that you can pay them. You would want to describe the kind of position that they would have to do. And you really have to have a need for them to become part of it. If you use sympathy and humanity just to help somebody in the future, it doesn't matter whether they are family or not. They can turn around and accuse you and blame you and fight you for wasting their time. So it's nice.
Yeah, it's very dicey situation in terms of whether to add family or not to add family, or what role can they play? Are they educated or not educated? Do they have an insight into the kind of business that you are doing? What is the knowledge and expertise that they can bring on board? But I think people don't really consider those things. They all consider that because they can probably pay them less, they go for this kind of things that really affect their business in the long run. How do you handle challenges in business?
There are many. There are 1,001. The challenges with yourself, the doubt, the constant doubt that, the first 3-4 years, the constant doubt that did you make the right choice of saying that you want to build a business? And is your business model working? Can it grow? Did you make the right choice in terms of partnership? Do you understand the money? Do you have enough skill to understand the money? Can you grow the business as somebody who started the business? Do you have the required business skill? It's constant pressure. When others are planning, when others are partying, you may have to do other things. When others are building houses, you may have to focus on building your business. When others are doing a lot of things, you may be weird. Because the challenge is opposite. Remember, not more than 20% of your mates can end up starting businesses. Okay, so there's just a few number, which means that it's an area that very few people really understand what it takes. And so the challenges are many, and it could be money, it could be non-payment, it could be your employee trying to steal from you or leaving the job without notice. It's all a whole lot kind of a whole lot. And it could even be the country itself, the tax laws, the insensitiveness of, public officials in terms of entrepreneurship, even the social acceptance. So the challenges are just money. But that's how business is. Business is a problem that you're solving. So you just have to condition yourself that if I have to become an entrepreneur, then it's just problems that I'm going to solve. And it's pressure cost.
Yes, so challenges is key. What are one of the biggest challenges that you think you have ever faced in business that you can remember that you think supersedes everything?
Yeah. I think it was, it should be constant lack of money or bad financial decisions, bad financial choices, and not being able to understand that I had to do a lot to get in a lot of revenue at the beginning. So it's usually constant money issues. Maybe wrong partnerships from the trying to do something with friends just because we're friends, than looking for somebody who had what you should have looked for. So the finance could be the people.
Do you think money is something that really deter people from starting business? Because I think you've mentioned of constant financial constraints as one of your biggest challenges. Do you think this is what is stopping a lot of people from starting business?
I don't think you start business with money. I think you start business with an idea. But the money will be needed to run the business, and there's a difference. And so the lack of the money should not stop you from starting the business. But your skill to bring in the money will be a way that you have the pressure reduced. So the money could be coming from the sales, the money could be coming from loans, it could be coming from investors, partners. The way that you bring the money in, because the business is always, dissipating money, so to say. You're spending money on salary, on electricity, on rent, on the project, on the product, on taxes, everything. You buy credit, it's money. So that's how it is. It's money. So you should understand it. Anybody should not deter anybody from starting. You should not deter anybody from starting, because it's a skill that if you don't give up when the challenges come, you get to a point you start to understand what you have to do to bring in a lot of the revenue. And so if you understood your business model well, you understood the kind of business that you're doing, the sales or the income should not be a problem. So the challenges will come in terms of money when we are not that much scale in terms of how to bring in the revenue, whether it's to the sales or whether it's to business money, whatever it is that the money has to come.
I think I've got a message here on Facebook by Oradap saying that it looks like you are too close to the camera. So I think you have to relax a little bit here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I think money. I think you are making a great point in terms of money. You don't need money to start a business. You need an idea, but you need to have the skill to bring in the money, and that means there have to be a cash flow. And I think that is where a lot of people lack. So now you are telling people that if you are not starting your business because of money, then it means that you don't understand what business is all about, isn't it?
Yes, you have to test the model. You have to know. You see, our part of the world, most of us would want to start business when our friend calls us to say that there's a contract somewhere, then go and bring money for you to do it, and then we share the profit. For most people, that is business. But to a large extent, I think business is an idea that you are trying to test, which is a need in society. And that will cut a lot of the things that you have to have money to do. Because let's say you went to a village and you saw that there was a product that they didn't have, and you wanted to innovate on that product, which that product. You start to think of it. You start to look at it. And you may even want to talk to the people to say that this problem, I can solve it for you. But I can get it at this price and then make you at this price. So it's more of knowing that there is really a need for that idea. And you're testing it in stages to know. It's not just you having 100,000 to start. So you lose it when you don't have the skill, the expertise, the network, and the buoyancy to deal with the problem that comes. So having the money to start a business, really, if you're unskilled, will really destroy you. Skilled, then the money becomes important. If you're unskilled, it's just an idea that you have to test, model. Try to test it, and you have to test a lot of them. Then maybe one will work. You don't just say that this is what I know. Just test it. And most often, if you have no skill at all, then you can just look at, sales. Sales. If you look at sales, is a way just to try to, get business start. If you start with the sales, you start to see the money, you're solving a problem, and before you see it, if you're really learning, you start to do something.
So if I can get you right, you are saying that a lot of people don't do market research. They don't test the market before they start the business. They just go in straight because somebody's telling that you are going to get a good returns on this business. And I think money is also one of the biggest motivation. That is why people go into business. Is that right or is it wrong?
I would not say it's wrong, but I would say that it's uninformed. Uninformed, because if you ever met anybody who was doing business and who was doing it genuinely, usually the drive was not the money, because the money you're not going to get it for a very few years from the beginning. You're going to do a lot of sacrifices to start to build a business to make it work after you have found another way. So if your intention was just to do this and get money, you just think, a lot of people think that starting a business or starting a company is just another form of job. I think that is their word of paths is different, because the business, you're trying to build something that's solving a need. And it's like a baby. You're going to take care of it for a very long time before it starts to be able to have the strength to stand on its own and get you the money that you think. So if you put the money first and the money is not coming, you will stop. And that's why most people stop, because they think that starting a business is solely to get money. The money is not wrong. You have to have the money anyway, but it is the sole reason you will do that. And I don't think you should start a business because you want money, especially when you just start. Just starting and you have never done anything before. The money is a vision.
You get frustrated along the way, isn't it?
Yes, because it's misplaced. The money is a vision. Because we have gone through a lot of things, we have lost a lot of things, because we didn't know a lot of things that we were doing, but we kept going. So if it was the money, then you should have left the place and gone to look for some job or something that will get us money quickly. So that's how people start to cut corners and meet all kind of people, because their drive is money. But if your drive is trying to build an idea we can set you into some kind of freedom, that's something about entrepreneurship. If you get to a point, you see that there's a bit of freedom, there's fulfillment in trying to build something that's you try to prove that you can also do something. And that goes beyond this in the money. Because anybody with money, then should have a business. But some people have money without having a business. So the business reason, or your reason of starting a business, should not just be about money. How you will do that.
All of us want to be our own boss, and I think one of the reasons is to have money. And as you said, money is very crucial, it's very important. But if you go into business for money, you are going to be frustrated, because I think it's about the problems that you solve and about making people's life easier. That is what is going to sustain you in the market, not the money you're going to get. So I think it's more about empathy first before money comes in, isn't it? It's about showing finding solutions to problems in the market. Then people say, wow, this is a very good idea, I'm going to patronize it. Then as people patronize it the more, then you get the money. So it's about, so I think it's more about being a doctor, you heal people before you get the benefit, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. You see, as Africans, there are things that we have to overcome. And there is a mental stability that we have to have. The colonization still has some kind of stress on our mind. Okay? And part of the things that we don't understand is finance. We place money so high. And the other thing that we place so high is education. Okay, so and there is another thing that we place so high, religion. So there's a lot that we place everything high, but not our ingenuity, not our ability to be responsible to create value for ourselves and value for them. So most people will just look they see somebody with a big car, they are mesmerized. Because they think that means that the person has money. No matter how the person gets that money, they really don't care. But the one the person looks like rich, they think that. So there's a lot that we as a people would have to stabilize in terms of thinking before we can. Because the closer you are to the truth, the better you can serve people. You know, the value for human life, the passion, the heart, the character, the integrity, the intelligence. Those are the things that are set on truth. And so if you don't understand, if you're very far from truth, then you will do anything thinking that you're doing business. And that's why people do anything and place money so high. Because money can become a master if you don't have your things set right and your thoughts clearly defined. Because you sacrifice your values and your character just for the money. And you think that once you're getting the money, nothing else is important. But in the end, it's like running and there's a cliff. You know, there's some kind of value there. You will get spoiled because of the character on truth. And if you have that, then your passion for people, your love for people, your value for people, that will make you build a good business. And that's why when people come to work with you, they become better. They start to get to understand life differently. They start to redefine their values. They start to see life differently because you're just building a business, not to take advantage of people. I think that's where we really are coming to. That's why you can see a business person who try to screw the country to get money for himself. Then he turns around to say that he's very successful. And then later you hear that man is struggling because his foundation was shaky. His foundation was not. There's nothing that will succeed without proper foundation. That foundation.
I think you keep coming close to your camera and I don't really hear you. You always keep coming close to the camera, you know, it makes me, I don't hear anything that you are saying. So I think you have to be conscious of that because it makes it easier for me to hear what you are saying as well. Yes, so what you are trying to say is that there is a mindset problem in terms of entrepreneurship and in terms of really understanding the dynamics of entrepreneurship on a continent.
Yes, sir. There is. There is.
So what is critical about the mindset, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship? Yeah, I'm saying what is critical about the mindset, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship.
If you look at our education and how we were brought up in our schools, if you look at our culture and how we were brought up, we are told to regurgitate what we were taught in school. So let's say you are doing, let's say agriculture in school. They give you the definition. And they ask you in the exam that what is agriculture, and then you find it. They did not teach you. They did not give you the tools for you to use your mind to come up with the definition. And so by the time that you have a degree, you feel that you have a degree and you see that people with degrees feel very much confident. But really, they did not use the mind. They just were told something, they reproduce it, and they qualify. So you see a lawyer who's producing the same thing, and he qualifies. You see a doctor, they choose the thing, they write. So when it comes to problem solving, it's a challenge. When it comes to innovation, when it comes to creativity, it's a challenge because people become very weak in terms of the ability to ask questions. And if you're not able to ask questions and dissect data and issues, it's weakened. And therefore, that's why there's a challenge in terms of when it comes to entrepreneurship and the kind of training, the kind of education that we do. Because people don't have the confidence to confront problems and solve them and think on their feet. Because the education did not demand that from us. And the culture, I'm sorry to say, in as much as we have a lot of things in the culture that are good, the culture did not also require a lot of things from us when we were going also as young. So you could not ask a lot of questions from the elderly because you'd be seen as disrespectful and insubordinate. And that killed our ability to ask questions. And if you're not able to ask questions and see patterns and challenge issues, then you cannot innovate. You cannot think. You cannot solve problems. And for me, that is some of the things that are against the kind of entrepreneurship mindset development. Because you have to have the mind to ask questions. You have to be curious. You have to be inquisitive. You have to confront issues. You should be able to say that you are confident enough to challenge what they told you. And that, for me, the training has not supported it.
So it means that we complain a lot without finding solutions, isn't it?
Yes, because we are ill-equipped in terms of training. We are ill-equipped. And I will not say that just Africa. I think the world is like that. You know, the world does not expect you to challenge it. The world does not expect you to think on your feet and solve problems. So, for instance, they say that, okay, if you go to school, you become successful. But you know that the lecturer who was teaching you was struggling. But we still believe that that is true. Or when you get a job, you become rich. But you know that a lot of people have had jobs for 30 years and stop. And when they go into retirement, they have nothing. They say that if you become a lawyer, you'll be successful. And you know that that is not. Okay, but are people able to challenge that? It does not mean school is not good, but the kind of importance and the level of elevation that we are giving some of these things, and we not questioning them, is a problem. You know, we're not questioning them. So there are a lot of things that we don't question, they just put on us, and that becomes, and that's why people think that the is because the tools are not. And one of it is money.
I think you are making a great point in there. We are not able to challenge the status quo, so we all run with the flow. Yes, education is good. Everybody runs with it, but the point is that has education really helped people to really succeed the way we want? I was telling somebody that when I was first year in the university, those that were ahead of me, that finished, and they were ahead of me. When I see them in town, I always panic because I'm like, nothing is happening for them, you know. And I'm like, no, this is not what I want, because you see about 70% of them still struggling, and you ask yourself, is that what education is teaching us? Even these days it's even far better, but before it was really, really worse. You know, it was really worse. But I think you are right, because you see, there are people that have not even been to school, but they have challenged themselves to employ people that have been to school. That means that education is not a total key. It's one of the key.
That's right. Yeah. Education will help you to become a lawyer, a doctor, to become an engineer, to become a teacher, to become a police officer. But life itself is lived on the street. Life itself is lived in books. You know, it's not a classroom, it's for professional life. So society needs these kind of professions, so they have to produce them. But for you to live your dreams, it will not take this classroom. It takes something more than the classroom. Somebody finished SSS. If they decide to read a lot of books and upgrade themselves, that person will succeed more in life in terms of their dreams that they see, than for somebody who just went to school to get certificates and think that the certificate is enough. Because for you to become successful, you need to work extra hard. You need to use your brains. You need to have a lot of skills, financial skills, people skills. You have to be resilient in achieving your goals. There's a lot that you have to have. And that one, I don't think that they teach that in school.
No, they don't. They don't. And you see, that there is something that I have learned. And that is, you see, you were mentioning something about the street. And the street is going outside the norm of what the world has taught us, that is to have a job. Anything outside the scope of job means you are on the street. When you want to become a footballer, become a professional footballer, you have to be on the street. And the point is that, you see, one thing about being on the street is that you don't know the destination. You are just working on pure what? Hope. That you believe that is going to be better.
Yes.
You don't be in Africa and come and play in the Premier League as a choice. No. You start playing on the streets of Africa barefooted with the hope that one day you'll be there. And that hope, from where you start from, for you to get to the Premier League, it takes people that are ready. Because that challenge is one of the biggest challenges that it can really bring you down. There are a lot of people that tried, they never succeeded. And some have tried, and a good example. You don't become an athlete overnight. No. But you have to believe first that you can be in the Olympics. If you cannot believe, you cannot be there. If you don't believe that you can be the next Usain Bolt, you cannot be there. Because it is not a certificate, a guarantee that is going to take you there. It's hope, hard work, dedication, passion, consistent nurturing of your talent. But I think this is what people don't get. People think they have to start today and they have to get paid the next day like a job. No.
Because, you know, they have told us that when you meet problems and challenges, it means that you are cursed, or it means that you are a mistake, or you don't know what to do. But I would want to make 1,000 mistakes and succeed with one major one to clear the other mistakes, right? Than just to make one decision that will work. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, do it first time rightly is not part of the definition.
No.
You are going to make a lot of mistakes. No. You are going to try a lot of things. You are going to meet a lot of challenging situations. And you have to have the confidence that you have what it takes to keep going and to create the future that you want. And that one is not from school. Because school was telling you that you have to pass the exam for you to become intelligent. So if you didn't pass the exam, it means that you are not intelligent, which is not true. Because every human is intelligent. Depends on who and where they are testing them. You know, who and where that they are testing them. So the carpenter believes that he's not intelligent, but the doctor is intelligent. It's not true. Because you can make the furniture and the doctor cannot make that.
Yes.
So we are intelligent. So if somebody comes to tell you that because you didn't go to school, it means that you're not intelligent. That is a fallacy. And people have got that. That's why you have a lot of our people rushing to get PhD, rushing to get MBAs and all kind of things that they don't even do. Because there's not that much clarity in their thoughts.
You see, I love this side of our discussion because I think it's really preventing a lot of people from succeeding in life because they think everything you have to, the school factor. We are not saying school is not good. School is a platform for you to succeed. It's a platform, and that platform, you have to use it to your advantage. There is a lot of people that have got degrees that are still struggling in life. Why? Because their mindset has not been tuned to really change the dynamics of how they can use what they have to really help others for them to get what they want. So it's very critical that we understand that, look, it doesn't matter who you are. It's about what you can do.
That's right.
Now, when you look at a lot of companies in this world, whether even in Africa or Europe or America, most people are school dropouts or they have not been to school. And when you talk about an uneducated African that is rich, it should give you a motivation because an uneducated African is very serious. An uneducated European is different from an uneducated American. They are from uneducated African because an African who has not been to a classroom, that one is a dangerous thing. But we have got people in Africa that have not been to the classroom, but they are employing people with MBAs and PhDs. So it's about who you are and what you can do. And that is what people don't get it.
Yeah. Because they don't get it because, you see, where we got our information from the family, from the school, from the church, from the mosque. That's where we got our information. Most people don't read. Most people don't self-educate. Most people don't self-train. You know, so the ability, the quality of information that they have had, whether they are 30 years, 40 years, is only coming from this environment. And those things don't challenge them to become better. So they just believe that once they get a degree, that's all there is. It's a tool. But if you don't know how to use the tool is useless. It's a beacon. When you don't know where you're going, that beacon is useless. The person who doesn't have a beacon, and who is walking and knows where he's going, will beat you. You know, so in terms of succeeding in life, or succeeding financially or with your dreams, yes, you'll be able to read and write with your education and have some kind of confidence and convince yourself. But it takes more than just getting a degree or getting degrees. Now, if you think that if you want to get a degree...
Yeah, go on.
Yes, and I think if you have to get a degree, you should know that this degree is really needed. It's not just I want to get it. You know, so some of us finish first degree and we just rush to do the second. We didn't even know what to do. And it was not a requirement, it's just a pride that, oh, I've done my MBA, master's. And you went to spend a lot of money. And you have not even used the first degree, you didn't even know what it meant. And you don't want to become a consultant or a lecturer. So you're turning between wasting money that you could use to develop your future, develop your dream. And there's a lot of misunderstanding than those who have known. Because you can see that this money is complete.
I remember somebody called me one day and he said, if you really want to succeed in this motivational speaking, especially in Africa, you need to have your doctorate. You know, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Look,
That's right.
Les Brown did not go to university, but he trains Fortune 500 companies. You see, we've created
because he filled the gap.
Yes.
Yes, he filled the gap. He got the knowledge that could produce that.
Exactly.
Right? Self-education.
Exactly. And I told him,
when you meet your mate who has a PhD, he wants to tell you that he's more educated than you. And I'm like, what? You just have a PhD in a very little thing. How can you be more educated than the other person who is succeeding in what he has? So there's confusion. And our system tries to create intimidation to people who we think we are better than. And which is coming from the fact that we have little appreciation for human life. So I have to create an intimidation for you to believe that I'm better. Anybody who can use anything to make them feel like they are better than you. And they are using the education, they are using the culture, they are using the religion for a lot of money.
There is one lady here, Joanna Okuje, so she's saying there is a difference between schooling and education.
Okay.
What is your thought on that?
Yeah, I agree. Education is maybe getting the tools to get results. Schooling is maybe the one that we are going through to get results.
Exactly, because education is a lifelong thing, isn't it? But schooling is within a period of time.
Yes, there's certificates, and you spend a lot of money anyway. You see the way they are taking a lot of money from Africans to go to school in America, all these areas. We are getting all the degrees, and nobody's practicing what they want to study. It's shallow, because you need to build a lot of confidence in the people, or whatever tools that you are giving them is used.
Because you made a statement that I think is a very, very good statement. You said that you have a PhD, for example, and your PhD is within a small segment of life. If you've got a PhD in economics, that doesn't make you somebody who is a specialty in finance. So you can have a PhD in economics, but you can be an illiterate when it comes to finance. And that is what I call education. Education is literacy, to be literate, but in the long run, you are what? Illiterate. Because you are not educated in all aspects of life. So the fact that you have got education in one level doesn't make you educated.
That's it. And that is what our youth, our young men and women should understand. That life pays for productivity. Life pays for hard work, achieving your dream. And it takes a lot. We cannot hide beyond these things. We hide behind getting degree. And by the time you see it, you are 70 years, you are 30 years, you are 40 years. And you see the way, the enthusiasm that we show people when they get this kind of degrees. But life, productivity, that's why you look at the Chinese, look at the other people, those who are committed to creating value, creating solutions. They want something to create solutions. But we are spending a lot of time trying to get degrees and maybe go and look for political jobs. And that's where entrepreneurship comes in. Because entrepreneurship makes you think on your feet to solve problems. And you need a lot of our youth to think like that. Because you have to create the jobs. And it's not government who's going to create jobs. Forget what they are saying. It will be individuals like yourself, like myself, who will be able to employ one person, another one person, another one person, to create value for the society. And that's where Africa must think. And our society must be able to see that we need young men and women with the right mindset to create a future. Because they are the ones who create the prosperity. We have had enough of the poverty. We have had enough of the begging. We need to raise the confident, dignified Africans who believe that they can use their mind to solve problems.
Now let's come to entrepreneurship skills that you need to succeed in a marketplace. And the first one I want you to elaborate on is critical thinking. Are Africans critical thinkers in terms of when it comes to entrepreneurship? Are we creative? Are we that dynamic? Are we really hungry to really find solutions to problems? What is your take on that when it comes to critical thinking?
So far, we are not. Those who are hungry to find solutions to the problem are not. We are not many. Those who are really thinking to find solutions to our problems are very few. Because we are not asking questions. We need to ask questions. Why are we still poor? Why are we still importing from China? Why do we have the rich people who don't look like us in our own country? Why do we have most of our businesses not manufacturing, not processing, not producing? Why do we have a lot of our people towing a particular line? It's questions. Why do we believe that somebody will go and stand in the church and pray for 8 hours and will become rich? These are things that we have to ask, because the people who have created a lot of work will ask questions. And our mind is given to us in this life. For you to succeed, you must think. And you must use your brain. So people who are using their brains are the ones who are succeeding, not those who are just using their emotions, hoping that things will change. So critical thinking is so much ability to ask questions and separate data and look at patterns and see that this has been this way. Why is it this way always? Why can't we change it? We should be able to do that.
So you are saying we don't ask questions? And also, to add to that, in our part of the world, when you ask too many questions, they want to shut you up.
Yeah, so we have to ask more so that they will stop shutting us down or shutting us up. We have to ask more questions. We should ask questions. And I think that's good about today's social media. The only thing is that we are not asking the things that will create the future. We are asking the political questions, the religious questions. We are not asking the solutions to get out of it. So we need not just asking people are doing this and people are doing no. Those are the things that are happening. I'm talking of questions that will lift us beyond the state that we have as individuals. So that you are not just talking about Iniesta. You're asking questions about how can I build this business, how can I build my business, how can I become better? What do I have to do to become better? How do I save more money? How do I create more wealth? How do I become very much effective and excellent?
I'm really laughing because what you are saying, I want to bring a different twist to it, because when you ask those critical questions, they don't even contribute. Let me give you a typical example. One day I shared a motivational message on WhatsApp. I've got over 1,000 lists on my WhatsApp. And I shared a comedy just after it. Everybody that replied were replying about the comedy, not the motivational talk. And when you look at my list, it's Africans that holds about 80 to 90% of them. The question is, are we really serious in terms of trying to learn, trying to get something to really push our life to the next level?
Okay. You can't give what you don't have. It's the content. It's the content. I didn't get this mindset just yesterday. I happen to have lived somewhere that I live in books. I live in videos. I live in watching a lot of things that were, that I needed because I wanted to find my life. I wanted to find myself. So I was reading, studying. You cannot continue to watch comedy. And when somebody puts a very intriguing things there, you'll be able to respond. You can't respond. So you can only give what you have. It's the content. So when they throw something there, the things that will get their attention are the comedy, because that's what they have to do. That's what they are all looking for.
Exactly.
And when you break some serious questions, then they become very much, they will fight you. And it's okay. They will fight you. They will say that you're arrogant, you're cantankerous. It's okay. Because it's content. You should understand that until you have that, you cannot see the quality that another person is. So you always be attracted to the things that will never change you. And most people are like that. They're only passionate about things that will never improve. And they go to work and they it's content.
Yeah. I think that is what some of us are doing now, because we are all contributing to really bring that mindset change. And I know change is a process. It's not an overnight thing. And as we continue, there's going to be that shift in terms of, because let me tell you this, what, for example, you are doing every day on social media, trying to teach people and all that. I think you should be having like, when you just come online, you should have like 1K people, right? But there are some comedians and some people who, sorry to say, they chat, things that are irrelevant, but when they come online, everybody's following. And that is the kind of world that we live in, especially from an African perspective. We don't really want to learn. And I don't know whether they think if they follow you, you are going to be successful. We've got some mindset in terms of, sometimes it baffles me, but I think that is the world that we find ourselves in. We need to keep pushing until they understand,
Yeah, because people don't want responsibility. People want magic. People want miracles to change their lives. People don't want responsibility. People don't want to create their own future. People want prayer. Somebody will pray for them and then everything will change. People don't want discipline. And majority of them are in Africa. So when you talk for something that will bring the best out of them, but it will require work, they don't want it. They want somebody to just and everything is set and formed. So we have to just let people understand that if you want to improve your life, go for work, for labor, for diligence, strength, being responsible, making right decisions, going through the mail, going through the process to come. If you can get a lot of people to understand that, you'll be able to change the narratives.
And I think that comes to the point of resilience, isn't it? We start the business and we cannot be resilient. We have got this talent, we start nurturing it, we face 1 or 2 challenges, we are not resilient. How critical is resilience in terms of our entrepreneurship or our talent development?
It's everything. Resilience is everything. The only thing that you will fail is because you gave up. It's like you picking, it's like the way they refine gold. They put a lot of heat, and then they get the appearance of gold. It's the process. So the resilience is that which you have to withstand, because you're going through a lot of process and it's very uncomfortable. You'll be ridiculed, you will fail, you will lose money, people will depart you, people will insult you, the business will not work, you'll be misunderstood. You collapse the business and get another one. Sometimes people even lose their marriages out of that. There's a lot. You have to be resilient. It's one thing. You keep going. And if you have to adapt, you adapt. You have to change the method, you change it. But you keep going. That's what separates those who win from those who fail. But those who fail thought that it was that easy. But once you condition yourself that, no matter what, I'm going to be in it. And until you have given about 10 years into building a business, you have not done enough. So you can only maybe call it a quit when you have done 10 years, constant hard work, and you don't succeed. And nobody will fail when they do about 10 years constant work. So bound is something that can come out of that. And it calls for the resilience. So it's everything. You don't have to be that much intelligent if you want me to say. You just have to have the strength, the courage to keep working.
I think I was speaking to a young man and he wanted to enter into the Ghanaian media industry. We were talking and I said, look, and now he started doing something with his live photography. He's working with a series in which he's one of the production guys. And I told him, look, if you continue to do this the next 10 years, you will surely be successful. He said 10 years is too long. You see, people think it's easy. I wrote my first book in 2008. That was when I wrote my first book. When you look at the quality, very bad. Everything was totally wrong. But we are still here doing what we are doing, and we haven't even achieved a quarter of our dreams. But we are still here. But you see, the point is that I was speaking to a friend today. I say, you can only succeed if you are still in the field of play.
That's right. You just have to be there.
If you are not there, you cannot succeed whilst you are a substitute. How can you score the goal? Right. You cannot score a goal if you are a substitute. No, you cannot score a goal if you are a spectator. You need to be on the field of play. And until you're on the field of play, you will never know what will happen. The potential to succeed can only be found when you are still what? Playing your game.
That's right. You still be at it. You know, still be at it. That's right. It's true. You just have to keep going. No matter what people say, you keep going. No matter who left you, you keep going. No matter who insulted you, you keep going. No matter how many companies that you collapse, keep going. You know, just stay with your vision. No matter if they can come and close the office, close the business, go back again. They can come and say that you have done that, go back again. Just keep going and don't become bitter. Don't become desperate. Don't become. Just know that it's part of the game, but you have to keep the touch. You know, you have to keep running. You have to keep going. That's how it is. So even in economies where a lot of things are set rightly, so to say, it's still difficult to do business.
Oh yes.
It's still difficult to pick yourself up.
Oh yes.
So in our part where you still have to have a lot of people, high interest rate, people come for the business, the next minute they are giving it to their brother. A lot of things are still being restructured. What do you expect? There will be a lot. So you just have to put up. And that's why I think that when people want the easier way out, then they start to cheat. And I don't think that you just have to build a business, committing yourself to building anything without looking at how rightly you're doing it. Because it's your life that you're committing to do it. And so you might as well go through the right process to get the right skill, to get the right understanding. So that any time that something happens, you will have become a better person. Because the whole process is to make you become a better person who will make the right decision to build this business. The only reason you're failing is because you don't have the skill yet. Mm-hmm. The moment the skills have become developed, you start to explode. And it takes a while for you to take all those trash and all those misconceptions and myths in your head from you. So it's resilience that makes the difference.
You see that,
and the resilience is linked to that power.
Yeah. I was speaking somewhere and I told them that, look, when you sow a seed, what you need is the fruit. So why is it that if the seed comes off the ground, why doesn't it come as a fruit? And it comes as a stem, leaves, and all this, wasting your time, because that is not what you want. But why is it that is the fruit that is born last on the tree? Meaning that what you don't need are the challenges that will come on your way, and those things are what is going to prepare you for to have that bountiful harvest.
That's right.
So the farmer knows that when they sow the seed, that seed cannot grow sometimes. That seed can die because of maybe environmental factors. That seed can be washed away by what? It can be washed away by the wind. It can be washed away by the rain. They know the challenges and the things that can really cause them not to succeed. It can be even infested, yeah? But they still go ahead and sow.
Yes, you have to.
Yes, and this year there can be something like maybe environmental factor that can really destroy their farm, but the next year they still sow.
Yeah, they still sow.
That is the kind of mentality we need to have.
Yeah.
But we don't have it.
Yeah, that's okay. Yes, because a lot of it is coming from your training. Training is what makes the difference. You will quit when your training is wrong. The training process. Who train you? What training you? You will quit. If you're lazy, you will quit. If you are short-term viewing, if you don't have enough vision, you will quit. If you have weak spirit, you will quit. So I stopped, and you just accept that they stopped. So I have to go through. And nothing. Nobody who has ever succeeded in anything had it that simple. And everybody else is successful. There is, there is a sacrifice that you have to make. There's something that you must do to become successful in any field. And there will be times that you would want to give up, but you can't give up because it's warring in you. It's warring in you. You'll hit the wall. You are bruised. The blood is coming. You want to sleep. Drink some water. Next day, get up and go. That's how it is. And you keep your spirit light. You keep your joy, because it's not just the results that should make you happy, even though they are very much important. When you start to succeed, but the process must also be very important. The process that is developing you, no matter how painful it is, you must also have fun with the process as well, knowing that you are going through, and it's the journey, and you must enjoy the journey. and then resilience.
Sometimes we don't enjoy the journey, but we want to enjoy the end of the journey. But it has to be a process.
Yeah.
You know, when you are from class 1 to class
right.
2, you have to celebrate it until you get that degree. But we don't celebrate from class 1 to class 2 because
right.
the objective is to have that degree. And if you continue that way, we become frustrated because we are not enjoying every success. If you are making a sale of $10 a day, and the day you make $1.10, you have to celebrate it. But we don't. Why? Because we are focused our mind on the what? On the destination, not in the process of getting to the destination. And I think that is also key point. I have got a point that Joanna has also made. They say some people learn in the atmosphere of humor. How can we tap into that also and not about critical thinking? And I think Marie has really replied saying, Joanne, that is true, but they are not many. We are far behind as you see. Critical thinking is so much needed in our world, especially in Africa. What's your take on that?
Yes, I think the comedians are many. We have a lot of sports. As a continent, if the world is playing football, they invite us. If they are running, they invite us. When they are singing, they invite us. When it comes to science, the technology, when they are going to the space, they don't invite us. Mm-hmm. What does that say? Because they think that we can't think. It's unfortunate. When it comes to the science and innovation, I remember when I was doing my postgraduate, the master's, they said that, countries, some people from all kind of countries came to represent. And when they go to the African side, they had put some drums and things like that. While others had put computers. And so I asked the moderator, I said, madam, why is it that when it comes to Africa, you want to put drums there? I said, what do you think? Because for them, it's just drum and dance, which is very unfortunate. We should not just be drumming and dancing. We should look at the ability to create a things for the future. So the fun, I think, is too much. We celebrate things, people who are producing things that are not changing our country. I can tell you that Africa can still do better without music. Mm-hmm. We don't need music. We don't need sports. I'm telling you. Because the things that are killing us are basic. You go to the health center, the things that are killing us is not music. We have produced a lot of music, we still have problems. We have produced a lot of these movies, and they don't even inspire us to get to our dreams. So it's not a comedy, it's not a fun. They make you delay. The fun, the comedy, they are delaying us. We need people who can create solutions. And I think that as a people, we should be celebrating people who are creating solutions. So that's where we are. Than just people who are not creating anything that is changing our future, and those are the people that we say that they are successful. It's a pathetic situation because our narrative is different. And when you go to black community anywhere, it's when they are rapping and dancing that they say, look at the people that they have forced us to look at as Africans. All over, whether it's America, whether it's in England, whether it's in Africa, it's just the singers and the runners that they all say that these are successful. It's unfortunate. Because that is not the truth. Very few people will become very successful singers, but everybody can create something at the level. Mm-hmm. So the ability to use the brains is what they have conditioned us not to look at that. So the scientific creation, the product development, the process improvement, coming up with solutions, and the Africans are not tagged with that. So that's and surprisingly, we have bought into that. We have believed that. Believe that as a people. Well, I'm not for fun. Yeah. That's interesting. I think Joanna has come back. He said, Marie, please come and see the depression in America. We must not let that the humor in Africa. It must be packaged well. If we can package our comedy to international standards, we can communicate better. A better way. We must know the difference between good humor and bad humor. I agree with you that we are behind. We must just find the balance. Yes, Joanna, I think you are making a very good point over there, and I really appreciate. But when we come to African perspective, I think we need to really hammer on the side of being that critical thinking, inspiring our people, because we are far behind on that angle. I think an African in a normal sense is humorous. You go to villages where they don't have nothing but the smile on their faces. It's not like the fake ones we have in this Europe and America. They are really interesting people, And I think we are far behind when we come to really driving
that innovative thinking in Africa. And I think when we are able to get on top of that, then the humor and the music and everything can really add up to make it better. So I think you have a very good point. We really appreciate that. And I also have Philomena Adakwampo. She says this is a healthy discussion. Thanks, Philomena. Yes. Now let's talk about people skills. How are we able to really manage people in terms of business? And I think this is very critical in Africa. Somebody has a business and he thinks the employees are a slave to them. Somebody has a business and they don't even know how to manage their staff. They think they owe the staff. And these are some of the things that is really also not helping businesses to thrive on that continent. That relationship between management and staff, the leaders, the board directors, and the people on the ground, it looks like it's a master-slave relationship. What do you think about that? Did you get that?
Okay. Yes, you mean the people skill, isn't it?
Yes, please.
Yes, you cannot build a business without people. And you cannot build anything in this life without value for human life. You know, so if your understanding of life is wrong, if your value for human life is wrong, then you just use people for gain, for material gain. But the real treasure is in people. The essence of whatever that we are doing is to improve human life, human quality. It's to bring life, it's to bring happiness, it's to bring value, it's to bring progress to people. That's the only investment that we have. Now, if you turn it and you put the business in front of the people, you have missed it. Because everything that you're doing is the people. The treasure is in the people. So your value for people is in it. And that's where the people skill comes from. Because you have to inspire people to give their best. People are gifted differently. But you cannot use tyranny. You cannot use fear to get the best out of people and expect them to work when you're not there. It doesn't work. You know, so no matter who disappoints you, it's still people who you can build anything worthwhile. And so you have to understand that people are the treasure. No matter how much how many mistakes that they make, no matter how much mistrustful that you think they are, no matter how many disappointment that you have had from people, you still have to have the conviction that you cannot do much without getting the value in people. And you have to know how to create the culture where people can become their best. Because the fact that they work for you and you pay them does not mean that you are better than them or you own them. No, they have different skills and they are in different stages of their lives, and that's what probably they work with. And so they have to work with you and become better. They don't have to work with you and become, worse than before. And so it's a different way of thinking. And that's why Africa, the moment we start to put the people first, we will develop. But the moment we are not giving attention to the only treasure that we have.
But do you think?
So that's why.
Do you think when you put people first, do you think it really also gives them that impression that it also causes them to really work in a certain way that can jeopardize the business? Yes. Do you think when you put people first?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yes. No, because it's training. You just have to have better training system to let them know what they have to do at the workplace. It's the training. Like the way Ghanaians complain that Ghanaians don't work well, Ghanaians are lazy, they will take money from you. It's everywhere. The only difference is that you have to know where they are coming from and the kind of conditioning, the kind of training that you have to give to them for them to get to a stage where they will be able to produce the results that you expect. And so you cannot just expect people to produce the results without any training. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the problem is. So, but there's not nothing naturally wrong with it. It's the culture which is powerful. It's the culture which is strong. Now you have to give them training that will extract the quality in the culture. So that they can become hardworking, they can become trustful, they will be ambitious, they would want to work together and to see the business succeed. They would want to see growth. Those are the things. But they just don't come with it. You have to have a system. You have to have a training manual. You have to have the patience to see them grow to become better. And you build a culture that will be able to do that. And so it's still the people. The only difference is that people are ill-equipped, especially the entrepreneurs themselves, don't know that they have to constantly train the people and create an atmosphere for them to
That's
what they complain.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because I'm in the business training consulting field, and training sometimes some of the things that I really hear from owners of businesses and directors, and it's like, if I train them today, they leave tomorrow. So instead of that, I'm not going to train them. And I'm like, what? And I'm saying, look, but do you know what ignorance in a minute can cost you?
That's right, and it's costing.
It's better you train them today for them to leave tomorrow than not to train them at all. Because one day, even now, they are even costing you, but you are not aware. But one day, they are going to cost you that probably you close your business down. And I think this is the mindset.
And you have to look at the yes, because the business owner himself lacks the training. They lack. They just happen to have an idea and they're doing something. But most of them never train themselves. They don't read, they don't study, they don't do anything. That's why when they start to expand the business or when they start to grow, there's pressure on them. That's why they cannot rest. Most of them cannot rest. Most of them, their anger level is very high. They live in fear. They cannot even leave the business and go anywhere. So it's because they themselves are ill-equipped. Majority of them are ill-equipped, because the moment you take the value from the people, you don't understand humanity and you don't understand life. Okay, so the fact that you train them and they will go, train 10. If one stays, it's better. And if all of us were training, then everywhere that they are coming from, when they go, another person will come, and that person will come with some people of training. So everybody should be training anyway. Let them go. You don't own them. You didn't create them. They have the power to make a decision and the choices. But those who stay with you for the time that they're staying with you, you have to build a culture where they fit in that demands you. Then you can get the results. Then you can get the peace and the realization of building a business without killing yourself. Most of them kill themselves. They work, they don't trust anyone.
I like the way you talked about culture, because it's going to create culture. When I started this training like 10 years ago, I was working with the Business Advisory Center and the National Board for Small Scale Industry. We were doing small business training for from this we were doing training for this traders. And sometimes it's amazing. For example, customer service training, and somebody will come and be boldly will tell you that, listen, if you come to my shop and you don't buy, I will sack you. It is right. God. It is God that provides customers. It is not man. And I think I really had a very good fun really training this kind of traders, because the kind of discussions that they bring along is really amazing. It's really amazing, And
that's the fact. They will go and look for anointing oil to come and put it there. And they pray every. You are the basis they don't do. And say that God, how can you not value human life and say God will bring success? How can you overlook organization, order, and say that God will bring success? Do you understand the God? This God is orderly. This God is organized. This God is accurate. You cannot mention that God and be disorderly. They think that God just performs miracles. No, but God is light. And light is an illumination, it's enlightenment, it's knowledge. God is wisdom, and God is love. How can you say that you're full of God and you will not bring the best to you? A customer comes to you and you talk to them like they are nothing. How can you say that you know God? And so our understanding of a lot of things, even our understanding of God, is upside down. If you think that God performs magic, God is not ordered.
It's interesting. And I think this one comes to us about leadership.
Yes.
Because leadership is key in the entrepreneurial journey. But before we go on, I would like you to really elaborate briefly on the difference between a leader and a manager, because people always have that conflict of interest between the two.
between the two. Okay. The leader carries the vision. The leader takes care of the mess. The leader creates the culture. The manager manages the process. So somebody must take the vision, create the vision, and that's the leader. The leader sometimes may not even get the glory. The leader sits back. When the thing is created, you put the manager there and you'll be able to manage the process. So it's a whole different.
And I think that is the most simplified aspect of it. That is really giving us the clarification. But do you have to be a very great leader to really drive this entrepreneurial spirit?
You have to lead yourself first. And you have to be able to see. The leader must see. You must have the heart for people. And you should be able to take the mess. If everybody goes, you'll be the one responsible for everything. That's where you see a leader when there's a mess. When there's glory and there's fall, nobody sees the leader.
Mm-hmm.
But when everything is collapsing, that's where you see the leader. That's what entrepreneurship, because there will be a lot of collapsing moments. You need somebody to be there to handle those moments before you see success. That leader, he's not the one looking for the glory. He's the one making the sacrifices for the vision to become a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the partnership, you need somebody who will take all this, take the disgrace, take the pain, take the disagreement, take the loss, take people going, be kind enough. Because that is somebody, because the vision is there. But for you to get there, somebody must lead the country, the channel. That is the leadership. Without the leader, everybody is not going anywhere.
So leadership is key.
It's everything.
And these are some of the things that I tell people. I've written a book called The Leadership Lens. The leadership lens is about what you are saying. It's leading from self. And I believe that if you can succeed with yourself, then you can succeed leading other people. Because you cannot succeed self, or you cannot fail with self and succeed leading others. So, and in the book, I talked about the leader being the person that is holding the candle.
Yeah.
If the candle is finished, then it means that there is no light.
That's right. And all human beings are created to look for leadership in anything. Humans gravitate to leadership. All of us are looking for somebody to lead us everywhere, no matter. Even the president is looking up to somebody. Everybody is looking up to somebody because that's how humans are wired. And leadership is divine.
So do you know the problem that we have? The problem we have as leaders is that if you are holding one candle, then the people that you are working with, you give everybody one candle for them to light it as well. One, the light becomes brighter. Secondly, if this light dims, there is other lights that can hold us for us to move forward. But what we do is that one person is always holding the candle.
Holding the candle. And everybody has to come and look at that.
Everybody has to come and look at that.
That's right.
So you have to empower people to have their own candles.
A good leader. Yes. So you see that the thing you said about the fact that when they say that when they train them they will go, is because they are not leaders.
Yes.
They're not leaders. They don't understand it. But you can't win. As a matter of fact, when they came and they were looking for Jesus to kill him, they couldn't find him. They all look alike.
Somebody has to kiss him, isn't it?
That's right. So much a strong leader that everybody looked like him. He was confident to let people be who they are. That's leadership. You don't have to let people look smaller in your presence. Do that, you're not. People should actually look bigger in your presence than your leader. To bring the best in you. And you're not threatened by people succeeding or becoming anything. Living your lives. You are not never threatened at all. You're not trying to condition people to stay small. No, you are inspired. And if they work with you and they want to start their own business, you should never feel threatened. Push them where, let them go. And if they need help, and you can do it, do it. Don't say that, I'm telling you, you have disappointed me. No. That's leadership. And that's why most people cannot handle that. So they think that if they help you, it means that they control you. And it's because of this thing.
You see, you
bring the best.
Yeah, go on.
Yes. No, it's okay. So you bring the best in people. That's leadership. Bring the best in people.
Because
you're not looking for the
yeah. Because you made one very good statement that when people become successful, right? When the leaders see that other staff or employees or the followers are becoming successful, sometimes they think it's a threat to them. And I think that kind of leadership is really common in our part of the world. They see people progressing who are under them progressing as a threat.
Yes. Leadership, people think, is position. It's not position. Leadership is influence. It's not position. It's not even possession. Influence. So your joy is to see that man who influenced become great. That's leadership.
That's leadership. But I think the best that can happen to any person is to sit down one day and say, I mentored this guy and now he's doing amazingly well. Why can't we get to that culture that, look, because of me, he's got this far? And that person appreciating that you have played an integral part in their life. Why can't we accept that culture?
Okay. Because our understanding of the truth, our understanding of the human life, the value for it, is still evolving. That's why we take advantage of the vulnerable. That's why when you go to ShopRite to buy something, you will not negotiate. But when you go to the market, the woman with very small tomato that she's selling, and she's quoting 10 cedis, you still want to pay that woman 5 cedis. Instead of you paying that woman 26, to help her to become better. Because you've been conditioned not to value. So the vulnerability of our people don't get our attention. So that's why the minister will drive the land cruiser and go to the village, and the children don't wear anything. And it's nothing wrong with it. So far as he is secure, he comes to the village.
We've got a lot of work to do, man.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
the moment you see that, no, I have to be in this car. If my people don't have hospital, I don't need this language. If my people don't have food to eat, I cannot travel. This is the thing. I have to put my life down. That is leadership. And it's for the vulnerable.
I think we haven't got to that stage yet. I think we haven't got to that stage yet, and I don't think it will be within our generation. We really need to educate our children to have that mindset. But our generation, they say you cannot give an old dog a new name. I think this is not for our generation. Interesting. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, that's why when I get political position, I think I have become God. Because I don't understand leadership. If I understand leadership and people are sleeping on the floor in the hospital, I'll resign from the position than sitting in an air condition when the people are dying from that.
But you see, this is where even our parliamentarians and our ministers, they need leadership training. But the point is that, are they going to have the humility to even have that training?
I don't know. Maybe, as you said, we should look at our children's children and maybe just say something. But it's still part of the competition. And I also believe, and I'm hopeful, that when people get to light, when people get to the things rightly, when people understand things, I think that a lot can change. Not fully, but when people start to hear. Because the fact is that our people, a lot of things have been hidden from us. I don't know who did that. A lot of things have been hidden from us. And so once you start to bring the light, people will start to appreciate. And I think that every human has some kind of seed in them, which is wisdom. That's why when they hear something which is wisdom, they can relate to it. So no matter how much, how old they are, they can at least appreciate what you're saying is possibly true. But actually, if they will work with it, that one is another thing.
I think you are right. The more we say it, they can hear it. And if they hear it, it's up to them to really work on it. But I've always been telling people that, especially in Africa, we have to give ourselves a 50-year plan. And that 50-year plan is not for our generation or the generation ahead of us, but it's for our children. It's about instilling honesty in them. It's about instilling resilience in them. It's about instilling leadership skills in them. It's about causing them to have the self-belief that, look, you are in Accra, but you can go to New York and go ahead and bank because you believe, because you're educated, because you are enlightened. That is what we need to instill in them. But these have to have a plan. We are talking about, I've given 50-year plan. Maybe that time I'm around 19 years. And that is what we need to do. Because look, we can influence those ahead of us in a way. And that is what you are saying. But for us to really influence better, we should start with what? The young generation, the youth. That is why I'm so passionate. Whenever I'm in Ghana, I love to speak in universities. I want to speak in secondary schools. Why? Because they are the people that we can change the mindset. Their mindset haven't still grown to be fixed. Their mindset is still growing. It's not fixed now. So they are the people that we have to infuse positivity. We have to infuse that dynamism. We have to infuse that belief for them to understand that, look, they can be whoever they want to be. Look, I speak in university and I connect with these young people on WhatsApp and we start chatting and some of them are doing amazing things. Just one word is changing lives. One word.
I agree. And we have a better platform in terms of now the technology, the internet has, compressed a lot of things. And so I think it's the content that we just have to work on and let them believe that they are as humans as anybody else. There's a lot of Africans who believe that they are half humans, and it's because of the history. There are people who defend the troubles that we meet and project them than the good stories that come from our continent. I remember when we were doing engineering in school, I didn't hear any name like Kwabena Mensa or Yao Genki or something like that, who was an innovator that we were reading about. All the names were Europeans, and I wonder why they put those things. Because then when I finished school, I didn't hear any hero in science, in engineering, in the textbooks. It's only when it came to drumming and dancing that they mentioned some people's name. That is a wrong kind of programming for the people. And then when they finish school, you want them to become innovators. How? How's it going to be? Because they then innately believe that for you to think, you have to be a wise-skinned person. For you to innovate, you have to look other than other. And people are quick to to say that the African has never achieved anything, the African is corrupt, the African is dishonest, and all those. And they may have argument. But I think it's because of the program. It's coming from the media, it's coming from the institutions, and we beat ourselves down with things that we may have even done. Yeah. So it's a program.
You see, I lecture, right? And there is a young black lady that really asked me a question one day. He said, all the case studies that we are using, I was teaching entrepreneurship, and he says all the case studies that we use for the course are either white people, are Asian people. Why don't you have black entrepreneurs that are doing well as case studies? And after the lecture, I went straight to the programs director and I said, look, we have got Africans in this institution and this is what somebody is saying, and I think you guys should do something about it. And they brought it up in a meeting, and now they are going to incorporate African entrepreneurs who are really doing well as case studies for them to use for their assignment. And this is the kind of level we need to come into. Because we've got the Dangotes, we've got all the successful, the Mo Ibrahims. Why are we not incorporating them into our case studies when they've got Africans as part of the institution?
institution. Yes, and you were very much confident to take it out. Because you know yourself.
Oh, yes.
You're not afraid, you're not shy.
Oh, yes.
You just say that, listen, this thing must change. And that's the people we need. You confront. You talk about it, you say no. And that's the essence of critical courage. And the girl was very intelligent as well.
Oh, yes.
She said that, listen, it has to change. Because why is it that when you are bringing the criminals and the poor, you show the African? But when it comes to things that to do with dignity and prosperity, then you change the color. It's all on TV. Anything that looks black has to be wrong. And anything that looks white has to be Jesus. So there's a problem. If you go to churches where you have Jesus color as white, then the devil is black. And you are telling me that we still understand a lot of things? No, there's a lot that we don't. And it's part of the lack of the history that people don't know. People even think that it's not right. It's a program. You can program people to behave in any way. It's a program. It's a content. What you're allowed to get to the people is what results you get. So the moment they start to pick the entrepreneurs who are Africans into that, people will start to see them. This guy look like this guy. You become inspired. Because the heroes must represent. They must not represent their oppressors.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I think we've really had a very good discussion. I think we couldn't even finish all, but our time is even fast spent. What can you tell me some of the businesses you are running? Because I know you are not doing one thing, you are doing a lot of stuff. I think I'm following MV Fashion, which is at Accra Mall also, and your construction companies. How many businesses do you have?
We have there are not many. There are just about 3. Construction engineering company. Then we have fashion accessories space. Marie is the managing director, my wife, and we have multiple. We actually have a lot of them.
You have got different branches here of the MV. Is it MV Fashion?
Yeah, in the malls. And then we have Ultra, which we use for properties. The construction, we have done it for 10 years. We have done major projects. Some of them got us money. Some of them got us into big trouble. That's how we are. But not every one of them was evolved out of our ingenuity, out of our thinking, and trying to do things the way that we understand. Trying to do things, at least and see that work. And then it's doable. You just have to do the job and keep going. And at every stage, no matter who thinks that you're not successful, there's some success that you have. And you don't have to compare yourself with anybody. Just keep at your vision and keep going. And just become a good person at heart, but never give up. And not roll yourself trying to cheat people or things like that. And if you make mistakes, just apologize and see how you do it. That's how we are doing. And improvise on what you do. And believe in people and believe the best for our country. Because you cannot succeed in a country that you don't believe in. So if you continue to talk about all the bad things in our country, you cannot succeed. Only when you start to look at the good things, and you see people start to, especially where you are, when people want to start businesses, they are working, but when they come to Ghana, they are business people. And when they bring some things, they give it to people, they go and say that the guy sold it and they bring the money. But you don't understand it. You have not done this. You just work somewhere. So there are things that people don't know because they come to Ghana and they think that they do. But there's a lot, especially in that kind of environment.
Very interesting. Yes, I've got Joanna again. She said, "Powerful leadership is not position." Exactly, leadership is not position. It's about influence, as Obin Daku said. And Gloria says, "Good work, keep it up." And Marie has made an interesting point. She said, "Pastors too need training, not only politicians. Value for human life." Yes, yeah, it's true. Pastors need training. Well, I don't know whether also they are also going to have the humility to be trained, especially if you are coming even from the outside of the scope of not being a pastor. If they are going to listen to you, but you see, there is always a transition of leadership in entrepreneurship into the what? Into the church. In my book, I said the only difference between the church and the business field is that the church seems not to be profit making, but everything about the church is entrepreneurial. Until you have that mindset, you cannot even run a church successfully if you don't have an entrepreneurial mindset. So the church really needs what? They need training. They need training. You enter a church and sometimes you don't even see an usher. An usher, you're speaking to an usher, they're looking somewhere else. You know? And these are the kind of training that you give to people, and it's very critical. Until you are up there in terms of what you want to achieve, success will elude you. Thanks very much, Mr. Obinaku. Can you please give us your last word?
Okay, I want to say thank you very much. And you know, I wrote a book and I sent you a copy. And that book, Perspective.
Perspective, yeah. Very good book.
Very good book. We try to put a lot of information for our people so that they can read a bit of it. And, you know, don't give up as a young person, as an ethnic person. Whoever you are, whether you're a man or a woman. If you're a woman, don't give up to say that I just want to marry and have children. There is a dream in you. There's a character that you have. There's a talent that you have. And nothing gives better opportunity for anybody than trying to do something with your life. And that falls under entrepreneurship than any other. If anybody succeeds in terms of giving work creation, it falls into entrepreneurship than any other place. Ethically, it falls into entrepreneurship than any other. So when you start and you're meeting difficulties, don't curse yourself. It's not a demon. It's not witchcraft. It's just part of the process. Become better. You don't give up on yourself, and nothing is so big. So that's what I have for you. So thank you, Oscar.
Is your book Resilience ready? I've seen that you are writing another book on resilience. Or is it not resilience?
Resilience. Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it ready?
Resilience. Yes, it's resilient. Is it ready? Yes. The man delayed. The one who is trying to publish it delayed a bit, but let's see.
Yeah. So where can people get your books?
Where can people get your books? My books are in the bookshops in Accra. You know, Challenge Bookshop, Anglican Bookshop, Methodist Bookshop, all those bookshops. And we also have them in all MB outlets. Most, Accra, Western Mall, Mall, Passport, all those. We have them there.
All right, that is really great. I think probably in the future you need to get some on Amazon for others who are in abroad to really have, you know, a copy of the book as well.
No, it's on Amazon as well.
Oh, it's on Amazon. Okay, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yes. All right. So we thank you very much for coming on the show, and I want to thank everybody that was watching us live on Facebook. I think Oba Gamari really just joined us. He's been on this program before. Nana Kusikwa, yes, one powerful man that is also doing great in the US. And Marie, thanks for your contribution. Gloria, Joanna, and anybody that really watched us, thanks really for watching. We really thank you. But all that I want to say is that, look, believe in yourself. All that you want to do, go ahead and do it. I always tell people that the difference between having a job and having a vision is that a job, you are assured of money the next day. But when you have a vision, you are not assured of when you are going to make money. Making money in a vision is something that takes time. So you need to understand that. So if you are really yearning to have money, then go and have a job. But if you really want to inspire hope in people, bring difference in the lives of people, try to bring change, try to really inspire people, and along the line you make money, then have a vision. Be that person you want to be in life. You can be that person you want to be in life if you believe. I always say this, that it's possible if only you believe. You cannot succeed in anything if you don't believe. But there is one thing I want to tell you, that everybody is born to be successful. But when you will be successful when it comes to your vision, I don't know. That is why you have to be on the road. You cannot park the car and get to your destination. You cannot be a spectator and score a goal. You cannot be on the bench and be on the field to score. You have to be on the field of play, because things happen when you are on the field of play. Nothing happens when you are a spectator. And this journey is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for people that think that life, good things should happen to them. No. This journey is for those that believe that no matter what happens, they are born for greatness. For some of us, we don't care what we are going to, people are going to judge us at the end. But what we care is the small that we can contribute with what we have with our hands. I like that Bible quotation. It says, silver and gold I have I none. Oscar, I have nothing, but I have got talent. And that is what I can give you now. And that is why we waste our time to always come here every Thursday. We've been doing this for the last 7 years. And if I tell you this is pure sacrifice, why? Because that is what we really want to impact. But do you know what? If you continue to be on the road, one day, I cannot assure you when that day is, but there will be an explosion. That one person will see you, and that person will see the diamond in you that nobody has ever seen in their lifetime. And that person is going to take you to a different level in life. Be that person you want to be. Life is too short for you to do things that frustrate you. Start doing the things that you love doing. If you love children, start opening a daycare. Start doing it from your house with 2 children. Start doing some care. Do something with your life. Start something that can really change your life over time. Because you can never have 10 children if you don't start with 1. It's all in the mind. I always say that success and failure is in the mind. The battle is in the mind until the real whistle. Most people are already defeated before the whistle sounds. Be successful here, and everything on the outside is going to be successful. I'm coming your way next week with a powerful discussion. I have got this couple that are into business, and this couple is amazing the way they are doing their things. They are doing marvelously well, and they are really changing the status quo. And I really want to ask them, how are they able to work together? Because I don't think I can work together with my wife. If you're working together in the house, there is trouble. They're working together professionally. So I would like to ask them, how are they able to make it? And trust me, you cannot miss next week. You cannot miss. And I think you can pick some key points from them that can really help you, for you to really drive entrepreneurship with your wife or with your husband or with your partner. And you can't afford to miss that. So next week is going to be a powerful discussion. Please don't change the dial. All I want to say is that have a lovely weekend, and thanks Mr. Obidaku for really gracing this occasion. I think we're going to have you more on this show because your contribution is really, really valuable to a lot of people due to what we have got from, the feedback. And I think it's a step in the right direction. So this is what I would say. It's possible if only you believe. Have a very good weekend, and God richly bless you. Bye-bye.
Hello listeners, my name is Lucy. I invite you to join me on the Starr Personality Profile Show this and every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, where I will be talking to experts in their different fields to find out why they do what they do and what makes them exceptional in their various careers. This show is Starr Personality Profile on Starr Radio UK. Remember, the time is 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Download the app from your app store or join me live on all our social media platforms.
The IWFT team presents Footprints on Starr Radio UK with your host Oscar Bimpong every Thursday at 7 p.m. Starr Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean station in London.